Wait.
It said go. It said
Yeah,
3, 2,
no,
1,
but
go.
but see how there's that the I and the symbol, the zero there? That's what I wait for now.
Oh, well,
So
it
that I
says
know for sure that it's live.
okay.
Hi! With no viewers, it's fine. The zero means no viewers.
Hey, you're wearing the Improvaganza t-shirt that I
I
was wearing
am.
in the promo
Uh,
photo.
oh, yeah. I forgot that you were wearing this in the break. I wore it specifically because this was the shirt that I got uh, as part of the the solo improv group thing that we did together in Hawaii. So I'm like, I'm going to wear something appropriate.
It was the first
It's
that was the first
connected.
time we met, right?
Yeah, that was the first time we met.
Nice.
Anyway, let's do a proper intro. Hi! Welcome to Lego and Connect with Dominica May. I am Dominica May, and I am joined today with one of my regular guests, Mike Brown, another fellow improviser. As we were just discussing, we met in Hawaii.
Maybe I should change my
Uh,
name.
yeah, that's fair.
Is that
That works
better?
too. That works too. Whatever. You're promoting your other thing that you're not
Mm,
currently doing right now. Are you
I
still
know.
doing the other
I'm
one?
Yeah, I'm on a 3-month hiatus
Mm.
currently. I mean, I say it's a 3-month hiatus, but it's been 3 months, so and it will be
It's
longer.
it's it's ongoing.
No, I'm in this weird place where I'm like, what do I do? What do I want to do? And you know how you have like 20 different projects that you want to work on all at the same time, but you don't have time for more than one project? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
currently in this weird place where I'm like, do I keep doing my movie thing? Like I've got so many ideas. I could do something else. Like I want to do some writing. I want to go back into teaching. Like there's so many things and I don't have time for everything. So I've put the pause button on my movie channel and I'm kind of exploring my options right now.
Mhm. Yep, that's totally fair. No, I when you said having all these projects, I'm thinking about all of my unbuilt Lego sets in the corner.
Yeah.
And I have a few other Lego sets in my shopping cart right now, but I learned that there's a VIP like double VIP points event coming up. Uh and apparently the dates for it are different depending on where you are. Like I could yeah, VIP. So like if I was in the UK, I could be buying those tonight, but like in the time difference. But
Oh.
I guess they decided to make it March 12th to 14th in the US.
So you still get double
Because
points though.
yeah, but I have to hope that the sets that I have in my cart are not going to go out of stock until then.
Oh, you'll be
Because
fine. You'll
I
be
have
fine.
I have at least I have a few that have been out of stock recently, and one of which was uh, like I had it in my cart, it went out of stock, and it came back, and now it's in my cart again. I'm just like, cross my fingers.
Ooh. See, the same thing happened to me with shoes. So like when I got married, I wanted everybody in the groom's party to wear the same shoes, but not everybody bought the shoes when I sent them the link. And
Mm.
then like I think like two people bought the type of shoes and then they went out of stock. And I was like, "Guys, why didn't you buy the shoes? Like that's why did you wait? And now they're not available." And so I was kind of freaking out.
Yeah,
Um and then the shoes came back in stock, and I was like, "Guys, they're back in stock. Buy the shoes. Buy the shoes." So,
yeah. Well, what one of the sets I know is supposed to be retiring later this year, so like that's my main reason. I was like, ugh.
what set is it?
The Disney castle,
Which castle?
the Disneyland castle.
Oh, Disneyland Castle.
Yes,
Because you know it's
Disneyland
different
castle.
at Disney World.
Mm. But it's called the Disney castle as the set, so that's why I called it that. But yeah, it's the Disneyland one. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's the Disneyland
It's
one.
it's interesting because I think I saw the Cinderella Castle at Disney World, and it is also called the Disney Castle. And I was like,
Or maybe
but
it's the
there's two like
I
East
don't
Coast,
know.
West Coast. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've been to either of the parks, so I could be just wrong. Anyway, should we get started? I'll put my Lego camera on.
Yes, please.
Um, now, I don't remember if you were ever part of the stream when I was using my phone for the camera, and sometimes it would get all pixelated and you couldn't see anything.
Vaguely, yes.
This one has started to do that now too, but I have
Oh,
learned
boo.
it's just when the camera gets confused, and so if I just, like, wave my hand in front of the camera a few times, eventually it'll, work again. So if you notice that happening and I haven't done anything about it, it's probably because I didn't notice, and you should just say something.
Oh, I will.
FYI.
So I'm on Amazon and I'm scrolling through the Lego I looked up Lego Disney Castle, and there's a lot of different types
It's
of castles.
not on Amazon, it's an exclusive
Dun,
with,
dun, dun.
I don't think it's on Amazon anyway. It's meant to be
Well,
a Lego exclusive.
the Disney World Castle. Here, let me bring this up. So Cinderella's castle is officially called the Disney Castle, the Lego Disney Castle,
Okay.
and it's $484
On Amazon?
on Amazon. It's
Oh,
four
it's
hundred
just like
eighty-four
that's the
dollars,
secondhand or like alternative. Yeah, because it's 350 on the Lego site.
but it's officially called the Disney Castle. So when you were like the Disney Castle, but it's the Disneyland, and I was like, wait a second. So obviously they're marketing two very different products with the same name.
But which one are you showing? Show
This
me
is
a
the Disney World Castle.
well, that's the one that it is then.
Oh, I thought you had the Disneyland Castle.
I
I
don't
thought you
know
were
the
talking about the
difference. Okay,
so
like I said, it's been a while since I've been to
okay,
either
so
of
in
the parks.
Disneyland, it's Sleeping Beauty's castle, and it's a much
Ooh,
smaller, shorter castle. And then
okay.
there in Disney World, it's Cinderella's castle, which
Oh,
is the tall. And in fact, when they
okay.
went to go, fun fact, when they went to build the Disneyland castle, they didn't have enough money because, obviously Walt Disney was being so ambitious, he wanted to do everything. But with the amount of money that they had these plans to make Sleeping Beauty's castle this grandiose, like super elegant, huge, whatever. And they just didn't have the money. So they had to kind of do this whole workaround. And in fact, the castle is much smaller than what it looks like, because the way that they designed it with forced perspective, it looks much
Interesting.
bigger than it actually is. And it's still quite small. So, but yeah, I like
Okay,
Disney.
well, at least now I know the difference, and I would say it's the Disney World one. That's the one I'm going to be buying.
But also the Haunted Mansion Lego set is. Why did I do Lego set in like quotations? The
You
Disney,
mean
the
the Haunted
Lego
Mansion, not
set.
the Lego, not the Disneyland like Haunted Mansion. It's just the Haunted Mansion or Haunted House. Haunted
No, it
House.
actually is the Disney
Wait,
Haunted Mansion by Lego.
is it previously been released and it's retired now?
Oh, never mind. It is just a generic haunted house. Never mind. I was wondering why it looked different, but because I looked up Disney, it was the first thing popped up, so I assumed. Never
Mm,
mind. Never
mm,
mind.
mm. See, I have the Haunted House set. That I'm saving that one until Halloween this year.
Spooky.
Exactly. That's the time to do it, right? Um, so I know that this is this. I think this is the set that you had originally planned to get to put on your wedding
Wedding
cake,
cake.
right?
Yep.
But I was assuming you weren't planning on putting the T-Rex on there too, and just the doors, or were you planning on?
So the original plan was that I was going to make the cake, and then I was going to build the doors, like the Lego doors, and have
Mhm,
them sit at the edge, at the far edge of the cake. So I wasn't ever actually going to put the Legos on
on
top
top.
of like the cake, because it's kind of it's not going to destroy the Legos, but then you have to like clean it out and like
Well,
I
then
don't
you'd
know.
also have to worry, is it too heavy that it's going to squish the cake?
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
So I was just going to set the doors at the back of the cake and kind of have like like make up the sheet cake and decorate it with all like these, you know, grass and leaves and twigs and stuff like, and like the road leading up to the gates. And then I was going to build the Tyrannosaurus Rex and just kind of keep it off to the side, so it's
Mm,
still kind of like all together in the same world.
I
But
see.
then I had some friends find this little ditty for me in San Diego, and I used that as a cake topper, and it's so light that I just plopped it
They
right up on
actually
top of the cake.
so you still had the Jurassic Park theme, it was just,
Yeah.
something that was lighter and cheaper, presumably.
Much cheaper.
I don't remember how much I paid for this, I just remember I got $50 off with my VIP points.
Well, I know off the top of my head how much it retails for.
Well, it retails for m more now. I've seen it on Walmart since I bought it because it's a retired product now, so it goes it's listed for much higher.
It currently goes for 250. So if
Well, it depends on where you buy it from, I've seen it for more than that.
I'm pretty sure it was 250 when it first came out. I think. I think.
It was either 150 or 250. I know there was a 50 in there somewhere.
450. I have no idea.
No, that's what it is
I
now,
have no
probably.
idea. Hope not. There's a new Jurassic Park Lego set. Did
Yeah,
you see it?
I sent you the link.
Did you? You sent it to
Did.
me?
I sent you the link with the one with the cars.
Well, now I have to look at it. But yes, like where the car's like upside
There's
down.
yeah, there's a few other new sets that are coming out as well, but that was the one that I wanted the most.
And it's
'Cause
cheaper. It's much cheaper than the
it's
one you're currently buying.
$100 instead.
There it
Um,
is. Did I ever show you the Sonic the Hedgehog set that I built recently?
oh, did you buy that one? Because I know that
I
one came
did.
out last month.
Again, I was down in Disney. I was at Disney World. Um, and we're just kind of walking around, hitting up the Lego store, and it was like this brand new, like just released set. Hold on, let me pull it down for you.
I've only seen pictures on the website, but it is a cool looking set that I'm interested in getting at some point. But priorities.
I know, right? Okay. Dun 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 dun. Boo 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 boo
See, I think
ba
that
ba.
this Sonic set is way better than the Mario sets that they have.
I just love how like the colors of it and the intricate detail, and like it represents like, oh look, you have like this little boing boing boing.
it's it's workable like the actual game.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
cool.
fun. Except for the save point thing doesn't actually like flip around and around, but still, like it's still
Yeah.
like it's just beautiful and it's colorful and it's really cool, and it also has a Dr. Robotnik.
Hmm.
It's off to the side.
Separate.
But yeah, it was really fun.
One of these days, I should have you join, and we can.
Dominica, you have frozen. I can still see you building Legos on the live stream Lego part, but the video that is you is completely frozen and no audio is coming through. Which makes me wonder, can anyone see or hear you? Can anyone see or hear me? And now you're all frozen. Everything is frozen. Maybe it's me who's frozen. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know what to do right now. Because it looks like everything is fine on my end, but you are completely frozen. Wait, I hear something. Are you back?
Yeah, I just restarted my Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Are we
is
still
that what you?
streaming?
It says live. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
Hopefully, it's fine. I can check in my YouTube if it looks like it's still streaming.
I will let you work on that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's still going. All right. But thank you for letting me know. Yeah, it had a little pop-up thing saying that there was some issues. But at
So wait,
least it
your
warned me.
Wi-Fi restarted itself,
No,
or
I restarted it because it looked like it was going to take a while to figure it out self out. And I'm
oh,
like, I'm just going to restart my
right,
Wi-Fi.
right. So your uh the video of you actually putting the Legos together is frozen.
Is it?
Yeah.
It looks fine to me. Maybe if I
Yeah, I'll just reboot your
off
Wi-Fi
that.
again.
No. Is it still frozen?
It is.
Wait. What? Okay, hang on.
Technical difficulties.
Let's click that leave button and click
Goodbye.
join again.
Dun 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 dun. Boop,
Can
boop,
you
boop, boop.
see things?
Yes, I can see things. I can see your hand
Okay.
doing a magic trick.
I'm just like making sure it's not
Ooh.
going to be all blocky or something.
Ooh.
Ooh, yes.
Wow, look at that T-Rex body.
That's how he's going. This is his neck. That's what I did in my last stream.
I can see the little arm joints for the teeny tiny little T-Rex arms.
These parts.
Yep, the little yep,
That's
the
the
little
legs.
ball and socket.
And this is going to be the tail, I guess.
Ooh, cute little nub tail.
It won't be such a nub once it's actually uh, put together, I guess.
Full disclosure, I mean, I granted we're like almost 20 minutes into this thing, 17 minutes in, but I lost track of time earlier tonight. So when you texted me the link to the live stream, I looked at my watch and I'm like, "Oh, she's texting me the link for the live stream that starts in like an hour, right?" No, it starts now. And I was like, "What?" I totally lost track of time.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. But, that's fine.
So we just had
It worked out.
a grocery store open up around the corner from us, and today was the grand opening. So I went to the grocery store, got tons of brand new grocery. It's Lidl's. If you're familiar with Lidl,
Nope.
do you know Aldi?
Vaguely.
It's like a German version of Aldi.
Okay.
So Lidl's opened their very first store in New York City, and it's on the other side of the block of where I live. So we went. Of course, it was jam packed
Now
and
you've
so
just
many.
identified the general vicinity of New York where you live
Yeah, it's
on the
true.
street.
Yeah. Yep. If you look up the only Lidl's that exists in New York City, that's my city block. Like, just make two lefts and you're at my apartment. Uh,
People
y-
can come stalk you now, Mike.
mm, mm, mm,
Nobody's watching the stream. I'm sure it's fine.
mm. Yeah. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So I went to the grocery store, got all kinds of like groceries and came home and I was super excited. So I cooked up like this. So one of the things that they have are these sirloin steak medallions and they're $4 and they're individually packaged. And I was like, what? So I
Adam.
got a whole bunch of them. Came home and cooked them in my Ninja grill at home. And it was, mwah, I had like fresh mashed potatoes with cheese, little garlic in there, like sauteed some mushrooms and some peppers. It was one of the most phenomenal meals. And I can't thank Lidl's enough for making this happen. And so I was in my post food coma, laying on the couch, cuddling with Kim, watching Fargo. And then you text me. And I was like, no,
So was it just that it took you longer to cook that stuff than you thought, or
no, I genuinely thought it was 9 o'clock at night. We're laying
Wow.
on the sofa. I thought it was 9 o'clock, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe we could get through like one more episode of Fargo.
Nope.
Mm-mm. Nope. Couldn't even finish this one.
Oh, well, I appreciate you interrupting your evening to to spend time with me at the time that you said that you were going
That's
to.
the thing. Like, I could have said 11 o'clock, but I was like, no, like 10 o'clock. That's fine. Everything's
Mm,
fine. We're all good here.
it all works out. It's fine.
And that's what I look like sneezing.
It all works out. It's all right. Um, yeah. So I had our Kevin join me on Monday night
Our
with
Kevin.
the first set of
What a lovely man.
bags, and he kept talking to me as if I was younger than I am. I'm just very amused. It's like, so we were talking about the original Jurassic Park movie, and then he was like, um, like a movie that came out, you might not remember this, but a movie that came out like the following year or whatever, Godzilla. I was like, dude, how old do you think I am? I saw Jurassic Park in the movie theater myself.
Also, I would like to fact check Mr. R. Kevin for a
Oh no,
second.
I don't worry. I told him it was 97.
Thank
And
you.
it was not the following year.
Thank you.
Because Jurassic Park was, I'm pretty sure, 93. So
Yep. Sure was.
So yeah, I don't worry. I did that in the moment. I didn't even have to
Thank you very
Google it
much.
or anything. I'm just like, no, we're not the following year.
The following year, Schindler's List came. Actually, Schindler's List came out the same year as Jurassic Park. So yeah, man.
Anyway, I thought you would enjoy that because you are much more similar in age to me.
Well, I think the last time that we did this, you pointed out we were born the same year.
With Are you 82 or 83?
I'm
I think you're
82.
82. Yeah.
November. I'm November
Yeah.
82.
So we're about a year apart because I'm 83
Oh, I thought you were
November.
82. Also November.
Yes. so that's why I said similar age.
We're November babies.
We are. Are you end of November or early November?
I am right smack dab in the middle. I am
Ooh.
November 13th.
Ooh. But that means you're not a Sagittarius, you're a Scorpio.
That is correct. You little Sagittarius sitting over there on your
Yo.
high horse.
Look, I'm not judging. I don't pay close attention to what it all means anyway. So
I don't even follow that like astrology sign stuff. Like I kind of get the general gist of what most people consider a Scorpio to be because that's what I am. But I don't believe in it. I think it's a whole bunch of people
hooey.
just hooey. Yes, thanks. I think it's a bunch of people trying to make sense of just wackadoo things, and
Most things are like that, though.
it's the OG personality test, right?
Mm.
So, I mean, hey, no
It
hate.
must be earlier ones than star signs, though. For personality
Maybe, I don't know.
testings.
But like, hey, if that's something that you believe in, go for it. Like, no hate here. I just don't subscribe to that belief system.
No judgment from me. I have no problem either way.
But then again, a lot of people say that the religion that I subscribe to is a bunch of hooey. So I don't know. I don't know. We're all just trying to figure it out as we go, right?
I don't judge as long as people are like respectful.
See, that's the thing.
And not because there's I mean Christianity has developed a bad name because of the Christians that don't actually act like Christians.
Correct.
And but that doesn't mean that the whole religion is.
Well, I mean, look
shitty.
at any kind of religion. Like there's a certain amount of conceit that goes into buying into any religion. Like like whether it's Christianity, like, and how many different sects of Christianity are there? And
Mhm.
then, you have Judaism or Islam or like even more passive approaches to religion, like Hare Krishna or Hindu or not Hindu, but Buddhism. Um, I guess you could even put Hindu as a more passive approach to religion, I guess, depending on the context. But like, there's a certain amount of conceit that comes into accepting that particular dogma. And let's be
Mm.
honest, it's all crazy. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying I believe it, but you also have to admit it's crazy sounding. Like, there's a person who lives in the sky and has created that tree over there. And the dirt that you're walking on, yeah, there's something that's older than that. And it was like, so it's a crazy sounding idea, and I get it. Um, but also, like, as you said, just treat everything with respect, and like, hey, you don't have to believe it. That's fine. You also don't have to hate on it,
Yep.
you know?
Well, I was raised Catholic, and I feel like I still live with the values. Oh, see
Yeah, I
what I
was gonna
mean?
say your hand is green.
I still live with the values that I feel like I was raised with, but I don't follow the religion or dogma or any of that.
Yeah, totally fair. Totally fair. I've come to the realization that I usually use this in like a religious context, but even take religion out of it, any organization, doesn't matter what the organization is, you have the rules of that organization, you have the policies and procedures to make that organization function, and then you have your culture surrounding that organization or the social structure, right?
Mhm.
And so often, let me make this about religion again. More times than not, I feel like a lot of religious organizations rely on the culture to create the doctrine of that organization.
Mm.
And that's totally backwards. It's totally backwards. It should be, if anything, it should be the opposite way around. But why is there a culture that surrounds this organization? And that's what I have a big problem with. If you want to have your social structure within this religious organization, that's fine. Go right ahead. But you know uh it's when that social structure becomes so problematic that it's now it's now doing more damage than good.
Mm.
That's so incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah, like the number of abuses that you hear about that like rise in the ranks
Right,
of
yes.
religion or religious communities just so they can abuse that power or like try to explain that, oh no, God told me to do this, and so you shouldn't question me or whatever.
Well, it's not, I don't think it's even so much about like, well, God told me to abuse his child.
No, no,
It's
no, I'm not talking about those ones. I'm talking
but I
about like
think what
the
oh, like the
the
Jim
ones that are
Jones
like
type stuff.
married to a woman and you must obey me, kind
I
of
got you.
that kind of situation. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the child
Yeah,
abusers.
yeah, yeah.
I
But
don't want
even
to touch that.
still, what you end up with, and I just watched the documentary We Need to Talk About Cosby on Showtime, which is an excellent documentary. One of the things that pops up is you we kind of live in this culture where when you look at Bill Cosby for a second, he, on a public level, until he was outed by Hannibal Buress, and it really started long before that, but that's
Hmm.
when it really became public information
Hmm.
and knowledge. he was America's dad. Like, everyone loved, not only did we love him, he did so much good. He really did.
Oopsies.
Like, he furthered, like, he legitimized um black culture on TV in a very normalized way, in a way that wasn't like, they portrayed a non-poor family, which had
Mhm.
never been done in a black sitcom up until that point. He also really furthered and advocated for education, not just for minorities, but for everyone. Education is one of the most important things you will ever have in your life, and let's all work together to lift each other up, right? So he
Mhm.
did a lot of good. He did a lot of good. And then when this came out, you have this cognitive dissonance saying that, like, well, how can someone who's done so much good be, like, responsible for, and you look at the
Yeah.
individual people who came out and spoke against Bill Cosby, and you tend to look at these people and say, well, I don't know who this person is. I know who Bill Cosby is. He's done a lot of good. But who is this lady? Yeah, I'm not going to believe her, right? So you
Mhm.
tend to side with the people that you are familiar with the people that you uh like other things that they've done. If you have done A, there's no way that you could have done B, right? And so when you look at, like, some of these religious organizations, you want to believe in the good in people. You don't want to believe that your religious leader is capable of something so monstrous and
Yep.
disgusting that you find any explanation to will it away, so to speak.
Yep. Our minds want us to only only identify with the things that we're willing to recognize and believe. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I'm less likely to fall into those holes than what I see other people doing sometimes. And I don't know why, but like I think for example, like J.K. Rowling, right? I was a big Harry Potter fan um for a long time, and then she, goes on all of her rants and stuff against trans people. And I'm just like, well,
Yeah, it's not great.
yeah. But I mean, I guess there's a difference is that she did it all publicly. Like, you can't deny it. Like, it's all out there on Twitter. So,
Yes, yeah, she outed herself.
so that's different. I
I mean,
guess.
like, if that's how she feels, gross, but also, like, keep that to yourself, right? I
Yeah.
don't support that. I don't like, I flat out think you're wrong, and a lot of other people do. But if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, and you keep that to yourself,
Yeah.
because the only thing you're gonna, like, what good is gonna come from you, like, outing yourself in that regard?
Yeah. No, because you're like those, in that sense, like you are potentially harming the people that you're talking about. Like, they're not these random nobodies. Like, these are people.
Yeah. And, like, from her perspective, she probably doesn't care, how these people feel about her comments, but, from a selfish point of view, she should care, about her brand.
There is that. That's for sure. But I mean, also just like in general, I'm just like, I mean, I have to wonder how many like trans kids would have been reading her stories, like Harry Potter or whatever, and then learn about this, and then what? How are they supposed to react? They're like, oh, she doesn't like me. Maybe I should go and die,
I mean,
or
she's hurt so many people from these comments, and I also think that there's been, uh, a lot of people standing up against J.K. Rowling for her comments
Mhm.
and creating, I mean, anytime that there's tragedy, there's there are good things that come out of tragedy. And I'm not saying we need to go out and, commit tragedy or look for tragedy. But as Mr. Rogers once said, whenever when he was a child and he used to see terrible acts of violence or just like really awful things on television, his mother would say to him, look for the helpers.
Mhm.
Whenever tragedy strikes, look for the helpers. And I think, I mean, obviously those are wise words, because anytime that something terrible happens, there is good that comes out of it. We never would have wanted this terrible thing to have happened. But I mean, even just look at COVID, look at the
Yeah.
advancement in science and vaccination and technology that has come out of this horrible tragedy that is COVID. Like, we've made some pretty cool breakthroughs. Nobody ever would have wanted for COVID to happen, and it's still raging quite terribly. But like,
Mhm.
there are some good things that have come out of it. Look for the helpers
Yeah.
and be part of the solution. Don't be part of the problem.
Absolutely.
My
Yeah, no,
goodness.
I'm always trying to do more of that sort of thing, but sometimes it's hard. It's like, I don't know how to help in this situation.
Well, I think therein lies the solution, right? Like, even if you don't know how to help or how to, be part of the solution, just being open and being available and like,
Yeah.
you know, just being accepting of those that have been hurt or affected in some kind of a way.
So that they know that there is support, even if it's just openly saying, hey, this thing. Because, silence is what breeds more uh, acceptance of the behaviors that we don't actually want to see.
Right.
So even just saying,
Right.
hey, this is not okay, um, does more than silence.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it's hard because sometimes you get put between a rock and a hard place. I dated this girl years ago, and like, our political affiliations were aligned, but my activism didn't match her activism. And she took that out on me, and she's like, "This is not acceptable.
Oh, mm.
You need to do the same types of things that I'm doing. Like, that's not enough." And I'm like, "What do you want
Dude,
from me?"
dude, whenever I'm like on a dating app and I see someone who seems very politically active in those kinds of ways, I'm just like, yep, not matching with you. Because I'm so afraid that's how they're going to be with me. No, you need to join me on this stuff.
I was told that I was a bad liberal or like whatever, like Democrat, or like, you're doing it wrong because as a comedian, I don't love the show Broad City. And I was like, that has what? That show wasn't created for me, a straight heterosexual cisgendered white man. Like, that show is not, I'm not the core demographic here. And it just doesn't speak to, it's not my kind of humor. It's fine, and I love that it exists. And yes, we should be like making more shows like this and like, giving other people a voice, especially within the comedy community. But just because it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean I'm doing it wrong.
You're allowed to enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Ugh.
you don't have to support everything that is good if you don't personally enjoy it. But you can still be like, hey, I'm glad this exists. If you enjoy it, go out there and enjoy
Yeah.
it. It doesn't mean you have to personally watch every single thing that's supposed to be like the best.
It like, oh,
Whatever.
that tore me up. I was like, what are we even talking about here?
Well, see, I recently, just this past weekend, watched gosh, shoot. Memoirs of a Geisha. And
Wait, you were watching what?
Memoirs of a Geisha.
Got it.
I'd never seen it before,
I've still never seen
but
it.
my vague recollection of it from when it came out was like it was this like grand, impressive kind of thing that they put out because it was representation of another culture and all of this stuff. And I'm watching it, like thinking about all of these problematic things, and I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Really? It doesn't hold up?
Well, I mean, first of all, and I learned after the fact that this was a controversy at the time, but I do not remember any discussion about it. But a lot of the Japanese women are played by Chinese women, and I'm just like,
Huh.
why would you do that?
Huh.
Like,
I mean, we hadn't quite experienced the Scarlett Johansson debacle in our culture, so Asian people are all the same, right? They're like white people are all interchangeable. Like,
oh man, but I mean, this it came out in 2005, I think. So like for its time, maybe I can understand it, but I can't imagine them doing casting like that specifically now. Although it does seem like some Korean and Chinese actors do get used interchangeably
I
still.
mean, we're not that far down the road of progression, as much as we would like to think that we are. So it's still a relatively new concept.
The thing I found most problematic about the film wasn't race based though. Although like when I was watching it and I found this thing problematic, I was like, am I being judgmental for my own cultural differences? And then I found out it was written by an American guy, and I was like, no, probably not. um, so this the story surrounds like the protagonist in the film ends up like falling in love with this older guy basically when she's a child, and she works towards like wanting to be with him through her geisha stuff.
Wow.
um and it was like, ugh. Just because he was like the only person that was kind to her after she'd been sold by her parents. It's become a geisha.
So here's what I'm hearing is that it's an alternate version of like a Kardashian tale.
Is that what they do? I don't know. I
I
haven't
have
seen
no idea, but
Kardashian stuff.
I I uh, I would assume so. It's kind of like that.
It just seemed like you're a certain type of man's fantasy where these young girls become smitten with men who are far too old for them, um, and it that dynamic, it's not healthy, and you shouldn't you
Mm,
shouldn't as a little girl like be fantasizing about someone and then go and try and be with them.
hmm. But James Bond did it. It's cool, right?
Does that mean it's
It's cool when James
appropriate?
Bond does it.
Mm. I have a lot of
Oh,
feelings about this, obviously.
I love James Bond, but let's be honest, there's a lot about James Bond that is ridiculously problematic.
Yeah. Um,
Majorly so.
yeah, and I think it's personally, I think it's still fine to like certain things that may be problematic and just call it out for what it is. Um, because that's how you improve things in the future.
Well, yes. Yeah. I mean, like, look, we're all human creatures and we all have our own wants and desires. And there are, just by being human, there are certain things that some things turn us on and some things don't. And by and large, the human, uh, oh, sorry, I'm getting a text. Hold on one second. Sorry, it's from my wife.
That's fair.
She's on her way to bed. So we're just saying goodnight.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Um, oh, we have breaking news in the world.
Oh, what's that?
The Ukraine has been attacked. It's official. It's already happened. Security Council of the UN held an emergency meeting. Well, I guess it was only a matter of time, right?
Yeah, it was like 2 nights ago, I already saw someone posting on Facebook that, World War III has begun. And I was just like, "Oh god, I hope not."
What were we talking about? This is a topic I do
Well,
not
you know,
care to go down.
that is fine. But we were also talking about other problematic stuff, so let's change the subject and
Legos.
discuss something lighter.
Let's see. I have been reading The Sandman, graphic novel. Are you familiar? Have you read it?
I am. I have read the first volume, and I have the next 3 checked out from the library that I really ought to read soon because they're going to be due back in like a week.
Now, when you say volume, do you mean like the omnibus volume?
No, no, that's the thin
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
The thin ones.
So how far do you remember how far into it you are?
Just the first short volume.
Has okay, so
Nocturnes and Preludes or whatever it is.
gotcha. Okay. So I'm pretty sure we don't have anyone watching this live stream right now.
Nope.
I'm
Does not look like it.
still checking the messages. So the basic idea of Sandman is uh you have this dude in the 1920s or 1930s who he and his cult following decide, hey, let's imprison death. Like, let's hold like a cult meeting, and
Yeah.
we're going to have like some kind of like evil ceremony, and we are going to conjure death and then imprison like the physical embodiment of the Grim Reaper, so that death can't take any more souls, and we will live forever. Something goes wrong, and instead of imprisoning death, they imprison the Sandman,
Mhm.
Death's brother. And so Death has been imprisoned now, and now it's current contemporary. It's like the 1980s, late 80s, and Death finally breaks free of his bonds and goes on a quest to basically get his gear back, right? And that is the tip of the iceberg, as they
Yeah,
say.
that's how much I've read.
So has he spoiler alert, so he's missing his helmet, he's missing his bag of sand, and he's missing this ruby
So
gem.
okay, so the last part that I read was when he meets up with his sister, Death,
Okay, so and they're hanging out in Washington Square Park.
something like that, yeah.
And he's lost, and he's like, "Well, I got my shit back. What next?" And he doesn't know what to do with his life, right?
Mm,
That's as far as you got?
yeah.
Oh man.
That's what I'm up to.
You are in for a ride.
No spoilers, 'cause I do
No.
have the next 3 books checked out from the
No.
library. I the reason I haven't read them yet is because I got so into Daredevil that I just kept reading all the Daredevil books that I was checking out, um, because they were more urgent to return to the library because they weren't from my local library. They were checked out from, um, what like, other libraries sent them to my library that gave them to me. And so if I didn't return them on time, I would get a fine for them. Whereas
Mm.
the Sandman volumes are from my local library, and if I don't return them on time, I don't get a fine. So I'm just like, I'm gonna prioritize not having to lose $95 because I lost a book.
$95?
I think it's something like that if you don't return it.
Wow. Now, you're just straight reading it, or are you listening to the audiobook as you
No,
read
I'm
it?
straight reading it.
So I've never read it before, and I'm listening to the audiobook as I read
Hang
it.
on, someone's knocking on my door. Okay, close the door. Just You don't need to worry about knocking. That's what happens when you got kids. He knew I was streaming. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
So you're listening to it as the audiobook.
Yeah, so, Audible has done kind of basically yeah, it's an audiobook, but it's more of like an audio play, and
Mm,
it's a straight, almost carbon copy of the graphic novels,
okay.
and it's so good. It's so it actually
So does
it's
it have, like, voice actors for the different characters, like, different voice
yes.
actors?
Yes. So James McAvoy is the voice
Mm,
of Morpheus, otherwise known as the Sandman. Kat Dennings is Death. Um, uh, Neil Gaiman himself is the narrator of this whole thing, and he
nice.
basically like because again, when you see a panel, um, hold on a second. Let me grab a comic book real quick.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. The closest one that I had to where I currently am is Gambit. So let's just go right here. Great, awesome. So what do we have going on here? My
It's a
goodness.
skull.
Yeah. So like Neil Gaiman will say something to the effect of like three men standing on a cliff. The snow is dark and heavy.
Mm,
One man, Jerry, is hanging from a thread while they look out into the chasm. Deep in the chasm, you see a skull faced creature deep carved into the rock of the hillside, like stuff like that. So
yeah.
he's describing in great
Mhm.
detail what it is that you're looking at. And then whoever's
I
voicing like Morpheus, like James McAvoy, will like chime in with whatever Morpheus is saying. And it's like it's a direct carbon copy. Even when they have like the stage directions
mhm,
in the panels of the comic, like Neil Gaiman like reads all of that verbatim. Like it's
mhm.
just he just reads it as it's written. So it's really easy to follow. And they have music underscoring everything. It's really well done.
Cool. Do you find that's an easier way to consume, um, like, book content that you wanna consume?
So I don't listen to audiobooks. It's just
Ah,
I mean, I've listened to a few, but an audiobook adaptation, excuse me, an audiobook adaptation, what am I trying to say? An audiobook
adaptation.
adaptation as like an audio play or like a stage drama
Yeah.
from a graphic novel is so much richer than just like hearing a novelization, right? Because again,
Mhm,
you can't really underscore a novel. Like you can, but the timing of it isn't going to be right. Uh, because the narrator is talking for 3 pages about the crunch, the sound your jaw makes
Yeah,
when
I
you
see.
bite into cereal or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for 3 pages, you don't wanna, like, dramatically underscore that. But you can do that with a graphic novel, and it makes it more palatable, and there's stuff in the graphic novels themselves that when you look at a singular panel, you don't like, you just take it for what it is, and you don't look at the fine detail. Like, case in point, one of the things that I was reading today was Sandman. Again, no spoilers, you're not gonna have any context for this, so don't worry about it. But there's a little boy sitting in his study reading a book, and his back is to the window. But
Mhm.
in the window, there's these faces looking at him, and you
Creepy.
see the faces looking at him in the next panel, but in the panel of him, like, reading the book with his back to the window, like you very easily look past it. So
Mhm.
with this audio narration, they've actually added more information than what you get in in the panel, and it gives context as to why it's happening. And when they tell you that it's happening, now your brain goes, "Ah, this is important information that I'm either going to need to know now or in the near future."
Mm.
And when you just read the graphic novel, you just skip over that, not knowing the importance, or you don't even understand the context. Like,
Yep.
it'll just be Morpheus talking to his sister. Next panel, Morpheus talking to his sister. Next panel, a woman falling from the sky. Next panel, Morpheus talking to his sister. And you're like, I don't, wait, what? Who is this woman and why is she falling from the sky? But in the narration, it makes sense because they explain like who this figure is and why they're falling from the sky and what it has to do with what he's talking about, right?
Mhm.
So I'm getting more out of these books by listening to it and reading it at the same time. Because again, if I
Right,
only
so
listen
you're
to it,
listening to it while you have the
yes, yes,
graphic novel in front of you
I have
as
the
well.
book open and I'm going through it as because again, I can see visually what's happening on the page as he's
Yeah,
describing it.
that
Eh,
makes sense.
yeah. Or again, if you're having a conversation between two different people and you're only hearing two different people speak, like if it's two boys, right?
Mhm.
And again, one of the chapters that I just read, there was a conversation between two young boys. The two voice actors that they get have very similar sounding. They sound very
Voices.
similar. So it's hard to tell who's speaking if you're only listening to the audio. But if you're
Mhm.
reading along, like in the graphic novel, and seeing who is saying what, then it adds to the context of what you're hearing. It's just, in my opinion, it's a much, much richer experience. Ah, la, 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 la.
Yeah, no, that sounds, fun. Maybe that's what I should have been doing with my reading of it.
I mean, download the audiobook and then just rent the.
I'll have no, I have to see if I mean, the library might have the audiobook as
They
well
might get both. Yeah.
because I
Re
have Hoopla.
Do you still have the first Sandman graphic novel?
No,
Or
because I borrowed that from the library too, and I
well,
returned
just
that
get that from the
ages ago.
library again and go back through because it I would say I would argue that it adds to the experience a lot. That being
I'm putting
said,
putting his little arms on.
oh, little cute little T-Rex arms.
Like,
I'm
so
gonna leave
tiny.
you. I'm gonna leave you for about 120 seconds
Alright.
because this used to be full and now it's almost empty.
So you need a refill. That's fine.
Yes, refill. That's what I need to go do. I will leave you to your own devices for a very short period of time.
I'll probably be opening up the next set of bags by the time you get back.
I'll be right back.
Dear. Okay.
And we're
Welcome back.
back.
You're back.
What did I
I'm
miss?
well, I finished the arms, which I added. You can see in the.
Cute little T-Rex baby arms.
And they
Man,
move around and everything.
that's a pretty big T-Rex.
Yeah, it will be very big.
That's gonna
Then
be
and I just started the right leg. This section is just the right leg.
well. It's good to know that you started off on the right foot.
Mm, mm. That's how they decided to put it in the instructions. Just so that you could make that joke.
That's it. That's all it is.
All the little subtle things that they do.
I
I thought I was looking for black pieces, but they're just dark brown. What's that piece look like? Nope. This one. Just one. Okay. So you're feeling all topped up and refreshed now?
Oh man, like you wouldn't believe. My bladder is empty, so let's refill it, shall we?
That's how it all works. It's the cycle of survival.
Cycle of survival. Gotta empty it out before you can fill it back up again.
My
Oh boy.
kids were over dinner tonight, brought up the longest a person can survive um, without sleep. So I learned that the world record for the length of time that someone can sleep for was 11 days.
Wow. I was gonna say 9, but yeah, oh man, having gone, I think the longest I've ever gone without sleep has been, oh man, 50. I think it was like 52, 53, 54 hours, something like that.
Yikes. I don't think I've done that much.
Oh, that's rough.
I might have done like a little more than 24 hours or something.
As a flight attendant, like sometimes
Mm,
your body clock gets so messed up,
I bet.
and
That makes sense.
it's rough. Like I did international flying for 10 years, and I haven't crossed an ocean in, oh, let's see, 3, almost 4 years now. Yeah, I think it's been almost, let's see, 2018. Yeah, 3.5 years. It's been 3.5 years since I've crossed an ocean, and I'm still like I haven't.
Recovering?
Yeah, I mean it's really messed my body up a lot.
Was that by choice that you
Some of it, yeah, some of it's been by choice, but also some of it has been. Are you talking about
that you're
is
not doing it? They're not traveling internationally now.
yes, that is by choice. I just got so burned out doing the international flights. Uh, yeah, I just can't do that anymore.
So I think you guys like flight attendants, seniority makes a difference for you get to choose which routes you want to do or routes or
Yeah. Uh, because I can't talk about what company I work for in a
Does
public
it
forum.
vary by company?
It does, yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah, because each airline kind of sets their, because some of it is contractual, some of it is,
Right.
just kind of like
I just thought it
how
was a general like union kind of thing how that works. But I guess you're not all part of like one conglomerate flight attendant union.
from company to company,
Yeah.
correct.
No, but I mean, but like it, it's only within a company what the union is. It's not like flight attendants across all companies have
Correct.
the same contract.
Correct. Yeah. So, and there are some airlines that don't have contracts
Mm.
like at all. They have no union. And you look at that and you're like, how? But that's how it is. Um
I'm assuming those are the cheap airlines.
uh no.
No? Oh my
No.
god.
No.
Oh my, that's ridiculous then.
So, the company that I work for, um they're I'm trying to think of how I can say this without like actually like, because if you know, you
Outing
know.
the yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no. I mean, I know what it is, but I'm not gonna out you.
So let me just say that uh the company that I work for, it didn't used to be this way, but now you have the choice. And I think I can say that ambiguously enough, that you can either fly domestically or internationally. And
Right.
while yes, seniority still kind of comes into play with that a little bit, you still, if you want to, you can fly internationally or you can fly domestically.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, And when I first started, I had barely enough seniority that I could fly internationally. And it was great and it was awesome. And I did it for 10 years. And I'm not going to say I loved every minute of it, because sometimes you fly to London, you go to London twice a week and you're like, this sucks. Like and you have no choice. Like
Oh, no, yeah. I
that's
can
what the company
understand that.
tells you to do. Like, sometimes it's easier just to fly to Chicago and then fly home all in the same day, right?
Mhm.
But when the company says you're going to London twice a week and there's nothing you can do about it, it's just and it's hard because sometimes you say this to friends of yours and they say, "Oh, your life must be so hard. You have to go to London twice a week."
If look, but that screws up with, like you said, it screws up with your body clock because of the, you know, time zone differences and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're traveling that like I have traveled as a tourist and I've experienced what jet lag is like. So having to deal with that multiple times a week forever
Yeah.
just does not sound the greatest. So
Yeah.
I can
It's rough.
understand why there might be a preference for
I
domestic
mean, yes.
flights.
Let's not say that it's like there aren't great bragging rights. There are. And like, yeah, I'm in London twice a week. Like, what do you want? What little delicacies can I bring back for you? And or like where we used to stay in Paris was a 2-minute walk, if that, from the Eiffel Tower. We're like right there at the Eiffel Tower. So like there's some really cool things that I've been able to go do. And like you wake
Mhm.
up in the morning, you go get a French baguette, you hop on the van, you go back to the airport, you fly home, and you're like, "Hey, how was your day?" "Oh man, I woke up, had a crappy cup of coffee. Oh, did a crappy job. What'd you do?" "I woke up this morning in Paris and I had like an authentic baguette. That's what I did." So, like, there's some pretty cool stuff there, but at the same time, like, when you're trying to get 2 nights worth of sleep in a 24-hour period and your body's just like, "Nope, sorry, not feeling it today," and you've been up for 26
Mhm.
hours and now you still have to work the flight home,
Mhm.
that's rough.
Yep. Well, I guess I lucked out on having children very young so that I didn't try and follow that path. What's up? I told you don't have to knock. Just come in and do your thing. It's not even his teeth time.
I was just realizing as I was doing that, that may have given the wrong impression. And I was like, "No, no, no, it's brushing teeth."
No, no, I got the right impression from what you were doing. There was no way that I would have interpreted my innocent child as doing anything
It just means my object work is awesome, is what that means.
else.
Do we have any comments in the comment section?
Just a spam.
Oh,
So yeah,
vor
you
red.
can you can ignore that. Well, it might be like a spam website that is trying to get you to go to or something.
Well, there's no link though. It's just
No, but if you put it together, it might be. I don't know if that like the
Vored.
last three characters are
I don't
an,
know.
an extension of it. I don't know. I get those sorts of messages every now and then, and I was like, why? This doesn't even make any sense.
Try reading it backwards. What does it say? Thereof.
Who knows?
Vored. Thereof. I don't know. Arkady Sherbakov. I wonder if that was in response to my news of Russia invading the Ukraine.
I,
Derkov.
I don't know. I
What?
feel like that message came after because that part of the conversation was quite a while ago.
Mm. Well,
They're not getting
let's
attention in the. I'm not bringing it up on the screen. That's the
good.
main thing.
Good. Let's go through some Facebook news and see what the news articles are that pop up, shall we?
Oh, sure. Although the news that I learned about today was not happy news. Because Texas has made some really shitty decisions recently. Although apparently that was yesterday, and I already saw it today.
So, Coors Light is releasing a beer blessed by a spiritual guru to fight off demons with the Foo Fighters.
What? To fight off demons?
All
Is
right.
that legit? What?
Coors Light releasing a beer blessed by a spiritual guru to fight off demons with the Foo Fighters. Protect your soul while watching Studio 666. When the demons come, this is the article from from Odyssey. When the demons come for your soul, there's only one way to protect yourself: a frosty brew that's been blessed to protect against the dark forces. Foo
Wow.
Fighters are set to release their horror comedy film Studio 666, and the band teamed up with Coors Light to collaborate on a beer that's fit for the occasion. Plus, David Grohl's favorite beer, you know it's going to be good. The Coors Almighty Light, I guess that's what it's called. The Coors Almighty Light is a limited edition beer that's made with Rocky Mountain water and blessed by spiritual guru. The beer was blessed by a non-denominational ordained minister, and according to their website, it's the quote first spiritually enhanced beer developed specifically to ward off demons while viewing the Foo Fighters. End quote. No, sorry. While watching the Foo Fighters, dangerous new film, Studio 666. End quote. And you know the article
Is
goes
it
on to
just to make the overly religious, th- like the fearful religious
oh, I hope
types
so. Oh, I hope
feel like
so.
they can safely watch it?
I mean,
Something
this is a
like that.
wonderful marketing campaign, right? Like if you're coming out with a movie called, XYZ,
Hmm.
and you like because everybody has an opinion about everything, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a demographic that you think is going to be opposed to your movie called XYZ, uh find out like what their main concern is and preempt what that might be and then come up
Yeah.
with an alternative. So this crazy thing that you're now promoting is actually helping, to promote your movie. I think that's a wonderful idea.
It sounds hilarious to me. But sure, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it works in that kind of way. But it just kind of makes me think about how, there was that one politician who was like, Rage Against the Machine is my favorite band, and 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 he was like part of the machine that Rage
Mhm.
Against the Machine were
Mhm.
raging against.
Yep. I remember that.
So that's what it makes me think of. You looking up another article now?
Yeah, this is I'm trying before I announce it, I'm trying to make sure that this actually is what it says it is. Interesting. So, we all know that um the Marvel Defenders like
Hmm.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and the Punisher are being removed from Netflix, right? At the
Yes.
end of the month.
Yes.
Well, apparently, coming from thedirect.com, Disney Plus announces release date for Daredevil and more Netflix shows.
On the
Uh,
Canadian Disney Plus, though. They haven't
you
said
heard
if
about
for the
this?
US. Yeah, I'm in the know.
So here's what I'm thinking, because like the Canadian Disney Plus has a section on it that is like for adults only. It's like the 18
Mhm.
plus, right? And then in the UK, in Germany and France, where Disney Plus is Disney Plus available over there? I think
I
so.
think so.
There's something else that I was thinking of that wasn't available. Anyway, but yeah, they have that section that's like
Well, you might be thinking about the fact that Hulu is not available outside the US.
maybe that's what it is.
And
So
that's why there's still like a question about whether or not it's going to be on Disney Plus or
yeah,
Hulu in the US, because we're the only country that has Hulu.
that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. Like, it's got to be coming out on Hulu, I would think, you know?
Mhm. Well, I don't know. I hope it's going to be on Disney Plus the same. And have it all together. I was speculating in a Facebook group that I'm in for. It's the one that Jordan runs, with talking about the all the Marvel TV shows. And I was speculating that, well, maybe it'll be on Disney Plus because maybe they'll have one of those characters in Moon Knight because they're bringing it over. At least in Canada on the 16th of March, and Moon Knight releases on the 30th of March. Are they connected in some way?
I mean, is it can we talk spoilers for No Way Home? Is it can we
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
Okay.
sure that's fine. Like the spoilers for No Way Home at this point, I think are like if anyone has not heard them by now, then and they haven't seen the film, then I would be very surprised.
Yeah,
Like
what are you doing
they've
with yourself?
put stuff in trailers and stuff now. Like you know,
So, spoilers for No Way Home, but Matt Murdock, Daredevil, as played by Charlie Cox, makes an appearance in the film. So, I mean, with Charlie Cox as Daredevil now canon in the
mhm.
MCU, I mean, and we already know, like Kevin Feige gave us a huge teaser long before No Way Home came out, that Jessica, not Walters, because that's the actor, Jessica She-Hulk. What's her name?
It's Jessica. No, Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer Walters. Thank you. Jennifer Walters is an attorney in the Marvel universe, and Kevin Feige himself said, "quote You never know who else might pop up." And you're like, come on, you're talking about Daredevil. You're talking about Matt Murdock. Like, come on. So we know that Matt Murdock may be Daredevil, but at least Matt Murdock is going to pop up in She-Hulk. And that's not a stretch of the imagination to say he might pop up in Moon Knight also. Or maybe Luke Cage or Jessica Jones. Like,
Yeah, any of them. But I mean, well, so my thing was from what I've seen of the trailer of Moon Knight, it doesn't seem like it's set in New York City, but that might just be like the beginning of it. Like maybe he'll go to New York or whatever. Um, but from my experience, the times that I have encountered Moon Knight in the comics, it has been primarily because I'm reading like Daredevil or whatever, something with Daredevil in it, like
right,
those
yes.
that level of. It's like I did read like this one uh Marvel Knights book that where Moon Knight had attempted to create whole team of those street level uh, heroes. Daredevil was part of it. Shang-Chi was part of it. Um, who else? I think Luke Cage was in it. So yeah, and Black Widow. So yeah, so I see the potential there for that.
Agreed. So I'm still like scrolling through, and because I'm not going to read all of like these news articles that are listed in Facebook, but
It's
because again,
fine.
some of them like it's from what Giant Freaking Robot, and you're like, okay, well that's a rumor mill site. Like I'm not gonna
Mm.
talk about that because it's not real news. It's a rumor. London's largest Roman mosaic in 50 years has been discovered by archaeologists. Oh, this is
Mm.
pretty cool. It's like a big floor mosaic.
I don't know why, but that reminded me of the dream that I was having this morning before I woke up.
All right, tell me about your dream. I'll tell you about mine.
I I was dreaming about Jon Stewart.
All right.
But it was like I don't know. It's I don't know how to describe it. I was with some other people as well, and like, but I was like, I don't know, in some kind of meeting and listening to somebody, and I'm just like waiting for it to get over because I knew that, maybe an hour or something after that meeting, I had like just enough time to shower and get ready for meeting up with Jon Stewart, which may or may not have been uh, naughty and by design. I was like, why am I having this dream?
Oh man. Now I know Dominica's fantasies.
But I had never thought about him in that way before.
Oh, you have now.
I have
You
now,
have now.
but I hadn't before.
So I had a dream last night about do you I'm sure that I've previously talked at some point with you about one of my favorite YouTubers, John Campia. Does this ring a bell? Does that sound familiar at
Maybe.
all?
I'm just realizing that I've missed a piece somewhere. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
it's
Better
fine.
find it.
I figured it
What's
out.
difficult is like when you pour all of those Lego pieces out onto the table from one little bag and you start putting everything together and you need that one piece. It's there, but you have to look through every tiny
Mhm,
little, is
mhm.
it this one? No. Is it this one? No. I can't find it. It's annoying.
Yep.
But no, I had this dream last night that my wife Kim and I went to Los Angeles because my favorite YouTuber, John Campia, who he talks about movies and movie news and stuff like that, he
Mhm.
opened his own studio store that was just John Campia merchandise. And we came all the way from New York to Los Angeles just to go to the studio store. And we waited in line for 3 hours to get into the store. And when we finally got into the store, they were closing down
Oh, man.
because, and I was like, I can't, I flew from New York just to come here. And they're like, sorry. And I'm like, guys, like, don't you have like any like gift bags or like any, I'm a huge fan of this guy's show. Like, isn't he even here? Can I just say hello? And like, no, he's not even here. And it was so disappointed. So disappointed.
My first trip to New York, I had planned or wanted to stop in New Jersey on my way from New York to Virginia just so I could go to Jane Silent Bob's Secret Stash. But
Oh
I
man.
did not end up doing that because it was like a little bit challenging for me. I was like 20 at the time, so I'm just like,
Now that you mention that, because I've still never gone, but I really want to.
oh, if you do, you need to take a photo of yourself there and send it to me.
All right, Red Bank, New Jersey, directions. By car, it's an hour 10. By train, it's about 2 hours. Like, and that's door to door. That
Mhm.
includes taking the subway down to Penn Station. All right, all right. Well, that's not too bad. Take it out to Howard Beach. What? This is crazy, yo. You don't know what you're talking about. All right.
If it's too much, then you can wait until next time I'm in New York, and then you have an excuse because then you have to take me
See, I've been wanting to take Kim, but I don't know if she would be
into
cool
it.
with a 2 hour train
Um,
ride to get to a comic book store when there's
you
probably
can
better comic
ask.
book stores in the city. In fact, I know there are. But I just want to go. I just want to go do it. Let's make a day
Yep,
trip out of it.
that's yep. Well, that's why I was gonna do it like just like as a kind of detour on my way um somewhere else. It was just a little bit more complicated than I was willing to do at the time.
Now that I'm thinking about it, Kim is taking a girls' trip out to Tennessee next weekend, and I've got the whole place to myself that whole weekend. So
It's a good
maybe I could
time.
just take a
Good
day
time
trip
to do
down to Red Bank, New Jersey.
Great. I love that I'm inspiring you to do things that I can't do
Good.
myself.
Maybe I'll get like a couple of my other friends, Josh and George, to come out with me, and we'll just kind of make like a day of it. Guys, we're going to Red Bank, New Jersey. Why? Comic book store. All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but we could go to Forbidden Planet. No, no, no. This is Kevin Smith's comic book store.
Well, so I also my local comic shop, Cape and Cow Comics in Oakland, they uh we doing? Oh, two things wrong. They recently, like as in just today, got in their own short boxes with their name and stuff on it, and um, so I went and ordered it, and then I noticed also that they had available Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash short boxes. But there was no image associated with it. But I was like,
Oh.
what?
But still kind of cool though.
Yeah, yeah. I will
I dig
probably
it.
ask to have a look at those when I'm next in the shop picking up my
The
other ones.
secret stash. That's really cool though. Are
What
you
this
building
is?
the head? Looks like you're building the
No,
head.
it's for the leg, but I don't know. It's gonna be moving around like this.
So in the camera that's like directly looking down at the
Yeah,
Legos, the way that you have everything positioned, so there's the body with the two little T-Rex arms sticking out, and then there's is that part of the leg that's sitting on the table?
yeah.
The way that it's positioned, it looks like that's part of the head.
Mm.
Just from
That's
the
just because of where I
above
put it.
angle.
Put it
Yeah,
to.
exactly.
Because this movie part is a little bit complicated, looks like, and I'm still adding more movie
Hmm.
parts, moving parts.
Yeah, with your Aussie expressions over there. It's a movie part. Movie?
Yeah,
No.
that's why I corrected myself.
Movy. It's a movie part. What?
Because I realized how it sounded.
Go back to Perth.
No, thank you. Just because they have managed to successfully avoid uh, having very many cases of COVID, they're also very isolated from everything else. So, no, thank you.
Eh, they get to go out and have a social life now, and
They can do things without masks, yes.
yeah, I mean that's I.
Their their kids are in schools without masks,
If you
so
give me the
there
clean bill of
is
health, I will.
that.
See, I've like I don't know, Australia, New Zealand. I love like the vibe that's down there. I like the architecture. I like the uh, geography that is down there, and just the attitude of people in general. Like I feel like people in that region of the world care about taking care of themselves and others around them,
You know what? You can just go to Canada. They have a very similar vibe.
but they don't have the same sense of architecture.
Mm, I guess.
It has more of like a uh, let's go to the cabin in the mountains kind of feel to it, as opposed to like I don't know, like I feel like New Zealand and Australia have like American style homes, or at least like what I associate to be like American style homes. Maybe it's just called homes.
I don't know. I feel like there are a lot more brick homes in Australia than there are here. Unless you're in New England. I guess New England's got a
Possibly.
decent number of brick houses.
I mean, it's kind of where I grew up. Not like New England, but like in Pennsylvania, Western PA, there was, a lot of those old kind of brick
Yeah.
structures.
So it is regional, I guess. The
Yeah.
kind of the style of architecture, which is actually one of the things I think is interesting about the US is seeing the different styles of architecture depending on where you are traveling to.
Like Canadian architecture, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it has like a utilitarian kind of feel to me. And maybe that's just the very few places that I've visited in Canada. But then I don't know. I say that, but also like shoot, where was Anne of Green Gables filmed? Um
No idea.
Saint Edward Island. So Saint Edward's Island is very like New England architectural feel, but I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking of Toronto too much.
Mm.
Maybe I'm just getting hung up on Toronto. I've never been to Montreal. I've never been to
Look, I've only been to Toronto and Niagara Falls and Vancouver.
so East Coast and West Coast.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not even East Coast technically.
Nope. Ish.
Yeah, East Coast light. Yeah.
Mhm. It's so tricky to put these in the holes.
That's what
That's
she
what
said.
she said.
Oh, oh, oh.
I knew it. I knew it.
As soon as it came out
I
of your
could
mouth.
feel it coming as soon as it was coming out. Yep.
That's what she said. I
You're faster than me that time.
just saying. Just saying. So I would love to point out this T-shirt that my incredible wife got for me today. I heart Lil Sebastian.
The way my camera is, where my computer is, makes it look like I'm looking really close at it in person.
Mm,
Let me look. Like if I go far
uh,
enough, will I be in the frame? In your frame, will I be there?
bye, bye, Lil Sebastian. I miss you in the saddest fashion. Bye, bye, Lil Sebastian. Dun, dun. You're 5,000 candles in the wind.
If you don't mind me just moving on. I don't think we finished like discussing the new
Bye, bye, Lil Sebastian. No, sorry, go ahead. What?
the new Jurassic Park sets that are coming out in April.
Uh,
Are you planning on getting that one with the cars and the T-Rex escape?
I don't plan. I don't plan. I impulse buy.
Ah.
I have
Look,
no
I am.
plans.
I do too, and that's why I'm stunned that I've not bought that Disney castle yet.
I want to. I do, but I mean, here if I can move my webcam around a little bit, you can see how everything, every square inch of my office is
It's
filled.
full.
Like I have nowhere to put anything, right?
Mm.
So
I bought a new shelf.
I should. I probably
I
should.
put a one of those IKEA Kallax shelves that's like got square, like they're squares, right? So, and it was an open back shelf, so I decided to use it as like like in the middle of my room. So rather than
Okay.
against the wall, it's in going in the middle of my room so that I can display stuff on both sides of it in the open shelves. So it looks pretty cool. But
Great
because
idea.
there's still room in it right now, I'm not taking photos to put online. I'm gonna wait until I actually fill it
You want
up
to
with
fill it up? Yeah.
things. Yep.
I mean, maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe because if you see this shelf right over here,
Mhm.
it's shorter and shorter than the other big monster shelves that I have behind me. So I don't know, maybe I should look into getting another one of these things and putting it right there and
Mm.
just fill things out a little bit more.
Making a little bit more room for things.
Yeah. Yeah. I have, and I will show this off. I built myself a little shelf for my Ninja Turtle villains. So they have like a
Nice.
little popsicle stand
Mhm.
shelf thing going on right there.
That's very cool.
I was
Yeah,
very
that's
proud of that.
I've been thinking about getting like little display stands so I can put things a little bit higher up behind other stuff. Like if you look at my shelf behind
Oh
here,
yeah.
I've got like pops behind pops, and so some of them are a little bit hard to see.
Yeah, I definitely need to do that. Bye bye, little Sebastian. I miss you in the sun.
I also want to get next I think it's next month that it comes out. There's a Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers Lego brickheads set coming out,
Wow.
um, which I think is pretty cool. And I didn't know at the time when they announced that, but I do now that they've made a new Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie that'll be released on Disney Plus. I watched the trailer. I was like, "What the f is this?"
I know. I know. It looks so bonkers. I am all here for it. I am
I am
so
so
here
gonna
for
watch.
it.
But I feel like so many movies that are being made these days are made for our generation, right? Like
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
clearly they've got us in mind because they're digging into the nostalgia trends, the things that we grew up with, and want to see in a different kind of light or context now.
Well, I mean, like the kids now, like I don't even really. So I have like a 9-year-old niece and a 5-year-old nephew, and they're my nephew who's 4 is hardcore into Pokemon, but they're both into Animal Crossing.
Mhm.
Beyond that, like the Encanto, kind of like whatever Pixar movie of the week is, um, like that's what they're into. And beyond that, I don't know what other kids are into. I know what I
Because
was into.
they watch all their entertainment on YouTube instead of like
Yeah,
because of
Blippy.
streaming now, they're not watching things on Saturday morning cartoons or whatever. Like they can just watch whatever they
Yeah,
want whenever they want. So it's very different context.
yeah. Like Blippy is huge, huge.
What's Blippi?
Oh, so imagine me, like
Mm.
the persona that is Mike Brown, with orange glasses instead of white. Like we have the same glasses. Imagine it's a combination of Blue's Clues and Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street, but with like me as the host. Um, Hold on, let me look this guy up. Like you may have seen him. Blippi. Blippy. Okay. So when I show you this photo, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that totally is Mike Brown."
Yeah, I see
Right?
it.
So Blippy it's like because I don't watch Blippy, so I don't. Here, look. Here's another photo of this dude.
That's so one of your poses.
That's me. That's totally like same glasses, same goofy
Dude,
persona.
when I was looking for pictures of us together for the promo picture for this, like there's so many pictures of you just like pulling faces.
Maybe
And
I
they
should
were
do
great.
Blippy
They
for
just
Comic Con.
would work. Maybe they would think that you're actually him.
People might. Yeah, people might. This would be such an easy costume to do. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe I'll just call myself like a Blippy impersonator and just do like my own YouTube videos
Hmm.
as like fake Blippy. There, fake Blippy. There's my 4th YouTube channel. I have so many YouTube channels. I have so many. Why, Mike? Why? Pick a lane. I can't pick a lane.
Oh, but it's fun to uh, have different things. I'm writing at the moment. That's something that I've picked back up. I got this
Do tell.
um, idea for uh, um, a superhero story, my own kind of superhero story,
Go
which would
on.
probably work better as a graphic novel, but I do not have good enough art and I don't want to pay for it right now. Um, but yeah, like it started as an idea that I just wanted to write like this kind of superhero romance thing where they're masked. They don't know each other's real identities. They only know each other's superhero identities.
Okay.
Um, and that's where it started. But then, like as I was thinking about it, like I started just filling out the details of the two different characters, like what was their motivation, what are their powers, like all of this stuff. So I've written the first uh like short-ish kind of narrative piece for it, which I've posted to my blog. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
I dig it. How long is it?
I think it was like around 5 pages in Google Docs.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
But
pretty
for just
awesome.
the first romance sort of introduction of the
I
characters,
love that.
it's probably not where I'll start. The like, I would like to turn it into a novel, but I kind of when I write with this sort of thing, I write out of chronology and just whatever parts seem interesting to work on at the time. So we'll see how it ends up being edited together.
I love that. I love that so much. And
Thank you.
I think that like we don't we often talk about doing stuff. And somebody once told me, do you know what's easier than writing a children's book?
Talking about writing a children's book.
Telling people you're going to write a children's book. That's the only thing easier than actually doing it. And like we sit here and we talk about this stuff all day long, but we don't ever actually follow through with it.
Hmm.
So I love that you've like actually done it. That's
Yeah,
great.
it feels nice to have this idea in my head. For the first time in a long time, I've actually had an idea strong enough that I want to just write it and work on it. Um, like my first novel, first and only currently published novel, um, I published in 2013. Like that's how long it's been since I've written anything of
Wow.
length or substance. Jeez.
2013.
Yeah. And the main reason I published it then was because like the thing that was my motivating driving factor was I need to publish a novel before I turn 30.
Oh man. No pressure, but no pressure. No
I
pressure.
started writing it in 2011. Yeah.
Hey, so I mean, you're better than I am because I started writing my own book, my own graphic novel
Hmm.
years ago, and I haven't done anything with it. I haven't done diddly squat with it. And it's the kind of thing like I still believe in it. I still think it's like there's something to it, which is it's this kid in Harlem.
Hmm.
Um, I guess in a way it's similar to Encanto, but it's this kid who lives in Harlem, and he lives in a world full of superheroes. And if you are going to, kind of like how the X-Men, like you just are born with superpowers.
Yeah.
So their culture is that like one in I don't know, maybe like 100 people in the world receive superpowers, and
Hmm.
they're not all going to be at like a Captain America level. Like you might be able to like fill a glass full of water. Like I don't know, like you can do something, right? And they range the whole gamut. But if you are going to receive superpowers, you'll do it by your like 14th birthday or something.
Hmm.
And this kid just he's convinced himself, "Oh, I'm going to receive superpowers. Oh, I'm totally going to receive super." And he and like his best friend like they're totally like, "Oh yeah, we're totally going to receive superpowers." And she gets her superpowers, but he doesn't.
Ooh,
And now
jealousy.
he has to live in a world where he really believed that that is going to be the thing that makes him special. And
Hmm.
when he doesn't get the thing that he wants, how what makes you special if you can't do special things or
Oh,
what
I
you
like that.
think to be special things?
I like
So,
that.
yeah. And so I think it's a great idea, if I am allowed to pat myself on the back, but I haven't done anything with it. It's sitting on the shelf.
Hmm.
I even I even hired here I'll show you this. I even hired a woman years ago to draw my characters for me, and she did an incredible job. Where are they? Here they are. Boom. So
Oh wow,
there's
yeah.
Donnie Dixon and Lupe Diaz, and they're best friends, and he has a crush on her, but they're still at that kind of age where
Hmm.
they're figuring themselves out. Turns out she's gay, and she hasn't fully realized it yet. But he's like, "Oh no, 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 this is the girl that I'm destined to be with," and everyone's like, "No, no, you're not. Sorry, she hasn't told you yet."
You know what? That reminds me of so after I read more than 22 years worth of Daredevil stories,
In one
I
sitting, no less.
huh?
In one sitting, no less.
No, not in one sitting. That's a lot.
In one
um,
sitting.
but when I did that, like after I read that much, I just posted on Facebook. I was like, you know what Daredevil needs is uh, a lesbian best friend because he has no women in his life who aren't like ex girlfriends.
Yep.
So if I was writing
Yep.
Daredevil, that's what I would be doing. I'd be adding that.
Yep. Yeah, so that's Donnie Dixon. His and a lot of this, obviously, like when you write about stuff, you write about stuff that you know, or you write about your personal experiences. And there's a
Mhm,
lot about Donnie Dixon that is me.
mhm.
Like so much of it is me. Um, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, that's what I'm probably going to be putting in a lot of my own kind of stuff for my female heroine in my story. But they're going to be the real like street level kind of things with it, finding like real world problems rather than other powered people is that's my intention of what I want to go with it. So we'll see how it works out.
so many different ways to go. I love it. Oh, I love it. And where can we read about this, Dominica May?
Oh, if they want to read the first part, they can go to my website, my blog at dominicacreates.com.
DominicaCreates.com.
See, very easy.
Looking to see if we have any more comments, and we
Nope.
don't.
Nope. But it shows that there's a viewer now, and hopefully it's not just one of those spammers.
Oh. Well, hey, even if it is a spammer, it's a spam review. We got a view. Thanks, spam. Speaking of spam, and also your T-shirt that you're currently wearing,
Oh
I
yeah.
was just the other day. I was having a conversation with another Hawaiian improviser, and we were talking about spam, about how spam is such a popular food in Hawaii, and I don't
It is.
get it. I don't get it.
My kids love spam. Um, my
Well, of course they
ex-husband
do. They're kids.
my ex-husband used to make us this Filipino breakfast called spam silog, and obviously that has spam in it. It's in the name.
I would hope so.
So that's why my kids are fans because they liked that.
Well, one of these days they will develop a palate. I hope. Hey, that's a pretty cool looking foot you got there.
Oh, I did it. This is the wrong way. Like which? This goes here. It's upside down.
That's a
Gotta pay
great
attention.
looking leg of Rex.
Yep, it's getting there.
What's the other side look like?
That's the actual side.
Wow.
Oh, I have to turn this way anyway for the next part.
That's pretty cool looking.
This guy away.
Wow. Man, I love Legos.
Me too. I have so much Lego that I will probably still be building it next year, especially if I keep buying it.
Good. Good.
Although one of the reasons that it's a good thing that I have not purchased the Disney castle yet is I have to pay a plumber soon. And I had a plumber come to look at something in my kitchen today, and they have to replace a
Oof.
tap or a spout. Um, and they could not find one locally, so they have to come back tomorrow.
Oh man, they couldn't find it locally.
Yep. I
Well,
guess
they have
they
to
were
go to
all out
Sacramento.
of stock. Now, locally as in Oakland, they're getting it from San Francisco.
That's, I guess that would be the equivalent of, yeah, we don't have it in the city, so we got to go all the way to Jersey. Like, I mean, granted, it's
I
just
guess.
on the other side of the river, but like Jersey.
Yep. But that's fine.
Yeah, is what it is.
Oh, I get to do the foot now. I'm building the foot
That's what she
because
said.
this is that
It's not always gonna work.
doesn't make sense. Like as in the toes. I'm going to be building the toes part of the foot
Oh,
because
cute
obviously
little T-Rex toes.
it's just going to go out like this. It's going to look so cool.
I'm so jealous that you get to live with this in your house.
Just come visit. You could
And
be like
take it.
the uncle who comes to visit.
The uncool uncle who comes to visit. Is that what you called me?
No, I just said the uncle who
Oh,
comes to
okay.
visit. I didn't say uncool.
The uncool uncool.
Mm.
I will have you know, I am the cool uncle in my family. Thank you very much.
I never said otherwise. You're the one that's putting words in my mouth.
Now listen, nobody calls me the uncle.
Look, I've had enough years of my life spent with people putting words in my mouth. I don't need it from you.
Fair play. Good. Thanks for putting me in my place.
I know you're just messing with me. It's not
I'll
like
get my multi-purpose glue and I'll just put on my lipstick.
And then you're not going to be able to speak again. And that would be a terrible thing to have as a guest. I couldn't find this other piece because it was stuck together and I thought it was a square piece. But it's a movie piece. moving piece.
And action.
It is one of those. It's a slate. I got a board game recently that I backed on Kickstarter. It was about filmmaking, and I haven't played it yet. But
there's so many really good board games out there, and here's the thing that sucks about playing tabletop board games in a COVID world is that nobody wants to come to your apartment and play board games in person anymore.
Yep.
Sucks.
That's why most of the games that I have bought in the pandemic are games that I can do with my kids. But yeah, I have a few that it would be nice to have other adults to play with me.
So for my birthday, Kim got me this board game of Goonies. It's like a Goonies tabletop board game, and it's really cool. And there are 9 different adventures. But I don't want to just play it with the 2 of us. Like it's like a group thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have the people that I want to play it with, but they don't, and they want to play it, but you don't want to come
right
over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to play this game.
Look, I've been on a dating app since like December, and I haven't met with anyone yet. No. And like, I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I just I haven't even been meeting up with my friends most of the time. And then there's this one person I've been talking to since December, and I still haven't met up with him. I kind of feel bad about it. But at the same time, and so there was one night I went to see Freestyle Love Supreme in San Francisco with a friend, and I was messaging him the same night, and then I was like explaining what I was doing. I was like, I recognize that I'm doing this thing that I said I'm not really doing. but I had these tickets before like Omicron was really a big deal, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna waste the money that I spent on these
That's what
tickets.
get some business cards made up. This is Dominica May, hypocrite. And then just hand him the
We're
business card and
all
be like,
we're all hypocrites.
I'm not advertising myself to be anything that I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I do the same thing. Like Kim and I have had conversations, especially like when Omicron really started getting bad. We're like, should we kind of like re-lock down again? Like, should we take this that seriously again? And we are having these kinds of conversations. But in the midst of these conversations, like she's buying me Broadway tickets for like Christmas, and I bought her tickets to like a standing room only 90s concert party in Philadelphia. So it's like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We sit here and we say, "Oh no, we're totally going to take this thing seriously." And for the most part, we do. But then we go off and like do stuff like this and we're like, "But how seriously are we taking it?" You know?
Mhm.
I, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. I think for me, it's like who are the people I am willing to take what risks with at this
Right.
point. Um and for the most part, I think the main thing is that I feel more comfortable going out to an event that is packed like by myself or maybe with a friend, when I know that everyone has to be vaccinated to be there and everyone is
Yeah.
wearing masks, like that's part of
Yeah.
the regulation, versus having a friend over where you feel weird to say, "Hey, I want to hang out, but can we be masked?" Like, I
Yeah.
just the idea of seeing a friend in that kind of setting and not being unmasked just feels weird.
So I had this same conversation the other day. So we like I'm currently on vacation time right now, and we went out to go see some family in Ohio. And Ohio, being Ohio, like we went out and about and nobody was wearing masks, and it became socially awkward to wear a mask when you are literally the only one doing this. Even
Yeah.
within your own family dynamic, you're the only one wearing a mask. So it's now sending a message to your family members that you're doing it wrong and
Or
you
I
don't want
don't trust you.
to. Yes,
Like,
yes.
that's the thing that I worry about, like, I don't want people to think that I don't trust them, but then by saying, "Hey, I don't wanna hang out," is also saying, "I don't trust you."
Yeah,
So
yeah. And so, I mean, like, on the drive home, I had this really awkward conversation. Uh, just like, I don't feel comfortable. Like, I don't know. I've been triple vaccinated, like, with my booster. You've been triple vaccinated with your booster.
my kids are vaccinated, like, and my one who's a teenager also boosted.
But when we're out and about and we went to go see a stand-up comedy show. And I mean, you know how a stand-up club is. They jam pack everybody
Yeah.
in these small, tight little spaces, and nobody's wearing a mask. And like nobody's wearing a mask. And the
Mm.
waitress, like I was kind of sitting there with my arm sticking out, and she bumps into me accidentally, and she grabs my arm instinctively and gets in my face and says, "I'm so sorry. I'm
Oh
so
god,
sorry.
oh my
Excuse me. I didn't mean to bump you." And I'm like, "Get out of my face.
oh my god.
Get out of my face, lady. Like, you're not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask, but you're not wearing a mask." And like, ah! And like these are establishments that don't require vaccinations. And I don't I mean, I've been triple vaccinated, so I'm good, right? I'm good.
Yeah, but there's still that level of, like, I bet I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know.
And it's so frustrating and like it makes me uncomfortable, but it also makes me more uncomfortable to like not trust the people that I'm around? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's a losing battle, to be honest. I feel like we're because all the is Hawaii, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Hawaii is the only state that still requires mask mandates or that has mask mandates. I don't think any
Ooh,
other
yeah, because
state.
I think it did get lifted in California.
So here we are in the continental United States, and y- each state can't require anyone to wear a mask anywhere anymore.
It will no, in certain circumstances, like, I think in California, it's still required on, like, public transit and stuff. But otherwise, like, businesses, it's fend for yourself, decide for yourself kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, if a business wants to do it, that's on them. But
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's on them. It's on the individual establishment. So,
yeah.
and not that anybody was like policing it anyway. Um Broadway was policing it. We've been to go see a handful of Broadway shows since they opened back up, and they are extra careful at making sure everybody's vaccinated and everybody keeps their masks on throughout the entire performance. Like they were
Mhm.
very vigilant. And so hats off to you, Broadway. But between the airlines and Broadway, or besides the airlines and Broadway, nobody else is doing that. So I don't
I
know.
missed it. What did I miss? Oh. I skipped a step and it wasn't gonna go down properly.
Oof, that's what she said.
Yeah.
So is that the toe? What is that?
Yeah,
How
that's
does
the
that?
toes.
When you had it like opened up, I'm like, what it like how does that work? But you crushed
Well, that's
it
how
and I was
yeah,
like,
that's how it was put together. But yeah, it's
oh,
gonna go
that's
like that.
so adorable.
Right? Oh, I'm getting close to the end of this section, I think. I'm gonna have to do the claws on the toes there. Claws on the toes.
Claws on the toes. Hey, we have a new comment.
Another spam.
Yeah. Voomong.
Yeah, that's been there for 10 minutes. I ignored it.
Voomong. Vored Voomong.
Don't give them attention. Come on.
Thereof Gnomvuv. Sing it backwards. Trying to say it backwards. So do you know any good cult rituals?
Well, we can try that new beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Save your souls. Save your souls. Have you been watching The Righteous Gemstones at all on HBO?
No, I don't have HBO.
Oh, it's a great show. Also, if you want to sign up for like the HBO free trial, like the 7-day free trial, and then cancel it, binge Peacemaker, binge.
I
Um,
only I only just recently watched The Suicide Squad.
it's okay. It's all
And
right.
but my reaction to it was like because that's obviously where Peacemaker was introduced, and I was
Right.
like, this is the character that everyone's.
The TV show is so much better than the movie. The movie was okay. The movie was fine. It was a fun kind of yeah, whatever. But the TV show is really something spectacular.
Mm. Is there? So last time I had HBO was when I was watching Westworld, and I don't know if they've had a new season since then or not.
Well, I don't know when you got rid of your HBO, so I can't answer that for you.
Has there been a new season since they had the fire that destroyed the set?
Oh, interesting. I haven't been keeping up with Westworld, but let's look it up. There are currently 3 seasons on HBO Max right now.
Yeah, but I don't remember what was the last season that I saw. It might have been season 3, but it might have been season 2.
So let's see. This episode, Crisis Theory, debuted 2020. It doesn't say what month though.
Well, no, I mean, so that's new. New for me. I haven't seen because I didn't have HBO in 2020 because that was the pandemic.
So there you go. So
Yeah,
yes,
I thought there was a new season, so I need to eventually at least binge that.
well, if you're gonna sign up for Westworld, like definitely get Peacemaker under your belt. Watch The Righteous Gemstones. It's with Danny McBride and John Goodman, Adam Devane. That looks so good. That looks so good, and it moves too,
Like a
right?
chicken leg. Yeah. Well, ish. This part does.
That's
But
that's
when I
incredible.
attach this part, it's going to move on the actual dinosaur. But this part does not move.
I'm so jealous that you get to have something so cool to play with.
Like I said, come visit.
If I come visit, you will be missing Legos.
Uh-oh.
Fair warning. I'm just telling you now. But yeah, Righteous Gemstones. John Goodman is the head of a mega church in South Carolina. Oh, look at that. It is attached. Man.
Oh my god.
Wow.
It moves like it's wobbly. Hang on, let me show it off on my this camera.
This thing is jumbo sized.
Right?
And you don't even have the head or the tail on yet.
I know, right? I wonder how much you can bend his leg, turn him around.
That's what she
Can
said.
he can sit down. That's
Oh,
probably
wow.
gonna have to how I have to put him. I don't know how well he'll balance like on display and stuff.
It's like, how does a T-Rex sleep?
Mm.
It just does
So
like a vertical split.
the head is the last part that gets built. So I could just have him running around like a headless chicken.
Well, they're all basically the same animals, right?
Right. So yeah, that's where we're at. Look at that.
Wow. That's amazing. Ugh.
I don't
One
know
of
how
these
much
days.
time. Do you want to go to bed now or
Yeah, I gotta go get up in the morning and do the things.
that's fine. I mean, I wanted to at least complete a section. I don't like leaving sections like half built. But
Oh,
yeah, we got through 2
done.
sections, which is pretty
There was
great.
2? Wow.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
was 2 sections. When I streamed on Monday night, it was just 1 section.
Wow.
Because that's all the time that our Kevin had
I mean, that was
available.
a big it's like the main body of that dinosaur is still pretty big.
Hefty.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Heftamundo.
That's right. Well, yeah, it's a good time. I can go tuck my kid into bed before he goes to sleep.
Yeah. Maybe that's a good parenting thing to do. You go tuck yourself in. I'm gonna play with Legos. What?
He's done that before. Well, my kid has joined me for a bunch of these streams now because he's building his own Legos. The next one that he's going to join me for, I got the Looney Tunes, Wile E. Coyote, and
You've
um,
got to be kidding me. That's so cool.
Roadrunner. And so he was like, I don't really like the coyote one, so you can build that and I'll build the Roadrunner. But I think I'm going to make him build both of them now. And
Man.
he can do that while I'm building more of the Jurassic Park set.
Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner are my all-time favorite Looney Tunes of all time. They're just the best. Absolute best. Also, if you want to learn comedy, watch Looney Tunes. Study Looney Tunes. Don't just watch it, study it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
my kids, I think, have not really seen any Looney Tunes stuff, so I just thought it was interesting that he really wanted to build the Roadrunner. Like, I bought that set for myself, and he's like, "I really wanna build the Roadrunner." I'm like, "Have you seen it?"
Um, Not that I'm trying to advocate HBO Max or anything, but the
It's also
entire
on it.
Looney Tune collection, everything is on HBO Max. Like the new Looney Tunes, the old Looney Tunes, it's all there.
I showed, like, a couple of Tiny Toons episodes to my kids because that's on Hulu. Um, and we've watched a bunch of Animaniacs stuff because that's on Hulu.
They're tiny, they're
They're
toony,
toony.
they're
They're all a
all a little
little
loony.
loony.
And in this cartoony, they're invading your TV.
Exactly.
They're comic dispensers. They crack up all the sensors. At Tiny Toon Adventures, it's about to start.
The Tiny Toons are how I originally was introduced to They Might Be Giants.
Did they do the theme song for that?
So there was one episode where they did like a couple of the songs that are on They Might Be Giants' Flood album.
Interesting.
Um,
Like Particle Man. I remember
Particle
that.
Man, yeah,
Yeah.
Particle Man and the Istanbul song. They did both of those.
I am so glad that you connected these dots for me because I remember getting the Flood album and just loving the absolute shit out of it. And
I bought the album specifically because I was introduced to the music through Tiny Toons.
well,
I saw them in concert in San Francisco in the famous Fillmore auditorium doing the Flood album. Like that was the concert.
man, it's to this day their best album. I mean, they've got some great songs out there, but yeah, The Flood was hands down their best album. And I remember getting that album thinking like, where have I heard these songs before? Like I know these songs. I can sing along because I know the
You
words.
didn't know.
I just didn't know where I knew it from. But I'm so
Oh
glad that
man.
you connected those
No,
dots for me.
there was so that episode I think was on a Tiny Toons video that I borrowed from a video store back in the day when they still had video stores because
Camelot
it was
music.
a VHS tape. Um, yeah, and so like I had watched it a bunch, especially Particle Man. Like I was addicted to that song.
It,
And the animation for that song is just hilarious because it's
well, now I have to look it up.
Plucky Duck
Now
doing
I
a
have to watch it.
yeah, it's on Hulu. So just look up what the because I rewatched it with my kids also. So I'm sure you can find it.
There it is on YouTube right there.
Oh, let's see. It's
Bam.
on YouTube too. There you go.
All right. I will watch this as soon as I get off the phone with you.
Great. Well, I will end the stream. If you want to chat for a little bit longer, then that's fine. But we can end the stream. If anyone wants to see the future streams, sometimes I announce them in advance
Just
on
don't cross
Instagram.
them. Just don't cross them.
Don't cross what?
The streams.
Oh yes, because that would be bad. We'll let more demons and spirits into the world. Um, yeah, I watched Ghostbusters before the Afterlife movie came out. Yeah, so Dominica Creates is my Instagram username, so they can follow me there. But I don't always announce, so they can follow me or subscribe on YouTube or Twitch. I'm streaming on both to get notified when I'm live. Because I don't know when my next one's going to be yet. We'll see.
They happen when they happen.
They happen when they happen. All right. Bye, guys. Anyone who's watching or not later, maybe. My dad watched.